Listen, it's our community. Do you remember my grandma?
There were 450,000 Jewish people in Britain in 1945, but today we are only 285,000. That's not very good, is it? And now we go down by over 1% every year. There'll be no one left.
Through the United Synagogue, you're helping to sort out this problem. So thank you. Take a look. Over the last 3 years of the Kehillah project, you've successfully inspired masses of Jewish people. We've come a long way in a short time.
It's much, much better now. I really feel a part of it.
I like the United Synagogue because there's a real sense of community, as you can tell.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is food, there is drink.
You're developing communities. Did you know that you're helping lots of new communities to grow really quickly? Lots of shuls are full to overflowing. I spoke to Rabbi Znaiman. It's very important.
Our job is not just to support those communities when they're in difficult times, as we will do, but also to recognise the opportunities for new communities to develop and grow, to respond to the demands, to the requests of the local lay leadership, often younger people, and say, come on, we'll help you.
At many shuls there's been a revolution.
I was very often the youngest person by far in the shul. I'm not delighted to tell you that very often I find I'm the oldest person in shul. Now that really is a tremendous turnabout in 6 months, and I think it's marvellous.
We have so many things happening that we don't really have space.
What do we do when we hear Hammer? We're going to be serving pizza and beer.
People come because it's relaxed. People come because perhaps they know some people. They don't feel frightened. They're not put off. They know it's a synagogue where it's going to develop along lines they feel comfortable with.
Through volunteer awards, the individual's role in the community is celebrated. And lay leaders are being given a new lease of life. The United Synagogue funds practical training to develop professionalism and ideas. Experts are inspiring Jewish people to come up with their own ideas for their own communities.
But not enough communities are getting the help they need. They can't grow because the funds aren't there.
With congregations that are doubling and trebling every 5 years, you're all realizing that successful communities are centered around inspirational rabbis.
But you knew that anyway.
I think it's just a question of having the right rabbi and rebbitzin.
Before our new rabbi came along, we were lucky to get 20 people on a Shabbos. Now, I think we'll need a new shul.
For a rabbi to be effective, he really needs to know when to get out from the pulpit and get down there with the people, work with them, take kids out bowling, run programs with the adults when they take them on trips to Poland and so on and so forth. We're developing a generation of rabbis who understand that. We're equipping a generation of rabbis to work with those sorts of programs and to take the communities forward in a different sort of way from the way a rabbi would operate 10, 15 years ago.
They've got dynamism, they've got new ideas, they've got a proactive strategy to reach out and involve.
The only way to do it is to make connections with people. Not to tell them what to do, but to be with them, to like them, and to allow them to make steps forward when they feel ready to do so.
Many of our very best rabbis are recognized for what appear to be their instinctive skills and abilities to connect well and relate with their congregations. we want to replicate that. We want to ensure that those skills which, believe you me, are hard-earned and have to be nurtured as well as being part of a natural skill base with which one's been blessed.
Now, through ongoing professional development, you're developing a team of rabbis that all of us can relate to.
The great thing about having an inspirational rabbi is that he gets everyone involved, all the youth people. He's not just a rabbi, he's our friend. He's our friend and we love him to bits.
It's great. You're ensuring communities get the best out of their rabbis, and rabbis get the best out of their communities.
But it's early days. The United Synagogue can't afford to roll out the professional development to our rabbis. Rabbis who are so important to every successful community. 2 years ago, Tribe established a way to connect all the young United Synagogue, from babies to young marrieds.
Hello, Mr. Man.
You're teaching us Jewishness in exciting and fun ways, so we really enjoy ourselves and want more of it.
Suddenly a connection between the children's service, Kehillah, the local primary school, the Jewish secondary school, B'nai Kehillah, FZY, and what Tribe and the US are trying to do is say, wait a minute, let's all work together. The Jewish kids from the Jewish schools can meet the Jewish kids from non-Jewish schools, because that's a community.
Through Tribe, the Young United Synagogue, you're starting to build the critical mass of the next generation of British Jews. And we'd like to say thank you, because it seems you're doing it very well. You've listened to the children, hooray, and their parents, and you're beginning to offer us what we want, so we'll want to be Jewish. We like hanging out in the Tribe Zone at our shuls, and you're giving us lots of great things to do, and lots of great ways to meet new friends.
Tribe rules!
It would be great if more shuls had tribe centres.
And it all revolves around a friendly rabbi and a dynamic youth director. The Tribe Leadership Programme in Israel enables students to return from their gap year to take on practical roles in their communities. Here at the Tribe offices, the youth directors are professionalised even further to inspire young people across the country. Here's David Kaplan.
Since last year's dinner, Tribe has doubled its membership. We have gone massive. We've now got over 3,500 teenagers, nearly 3,000 Tribe kids, about 1,500 Tribe students, and about nearly 1,000 Tribe graduates. That's doubled from last year. Everything we do now is bigger. This year, for example, we launched, as we promised last year, to launch the first uniform membership for young people aged 21 to 30 in the United Synagogue. Tribe community membership, with a penguin as its icon. There are now 4 times as many young adult members of the United Synagogue since last year, all thanks to TCM, Tribe community membership.
80% of the people who've become members of our shuls now through Tribe community membership were not involved, nor were their parents involved in the United Synagogue. That for me is a stunning success.
In December 2004, we had 4,000 members. Coming into December 2005, we'll be nearly 8,500 young people. These are people who have actively joined Tribe. Young people are excited by Tribe. That is why they are joining.
Successes also include the launch of the 60 Days for 60 Years book, commemorating the end of the Holocaust. The book has sold massively across the world.
And we're launching it here at the Maccabeah, and this summer we're going to Australia, South Africa, Canada and USA to do it further as well.
Last year, we began performances of Chaim Potter. This year, communities have rehearsed Greece, and the first performances have been great.
What can I say? Sandy's not fruit.
You could almost say we're victims of our own success. There was coverage in the Jewish press over the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur period about how full our shuls were. And this wasn't an exaggeration. How do you serve as a community that is now 50%, 100% larger than it used to be? How do you make sure you've got sufficient rabbinic support, sufficient youth director support? The Tribe is actually now, after 2 years of full-time activity, the largest Jewish youth organisation in Britain and in fact in Europe. You couldn't really have expected anything like that level of success from Tribe in that short a period of time, and we're extremely proud of that.
The future has never been brighter for the United Synagogue. It is growing, It is speaking to young people. It has developed these imaginative programs. I think our future as a community is being born today in the Kehillah projects that we're running throughout the United Synagogue.
This generation and future generations are absolutely dependent on how we succeed at the United Synagogue. If we succeed, all our institutions will succeed. We can care about youth, we can care about education, we can care support for Israel, we can care about our elderly people. Every aspect of our wider Jewish community is solved.
We want to share our fun and exhilaration with everyone else.
It all looks great, but what you're seeing are those kids we've reached out to and got involved. What about the hundreds we haven't yet reached? 8,000 members is a huge amount, but it's still only a percentage of what we need to reach out to. In a school, when you've got 500 kids, you've got 20, 30, 40 staff to deal with the 500 kids. But in a shul, for 500 kids, you've got one person. He's got all the ideas, we've got all the programs, yet it's floundering. Kids are walking away because he just hasn't got the time, because he hasn't got the money to do it. We know what to do. We've seen what works. We've seen the SMILE programs, the shows, the trips, the leadership organizations. We've seen it all. The problem is if we don't have the funding, we just can't do these programs. And hundreds and thousands of children and youth who could be touched and could be getting more involved in their communities will not be. Not because we weren't able to, because we didn't understand how to do it, but just because there was no money, there was no personnel, there was no staff. That, to me, is a tragedy.
Shul membership pays for the basic services of running a shul. It doesn't pay for the regeneration of our Jewish world. But you are on the right track. You're making our rabbis and youth directors more relevant. You're developing communities as never before, so that you and your children and your grandchildren can all enjoy a living Anglo-Jewry in greater numbers. Is this what you want? Because it's what we want.
אנחנו צועדים, מתקדמים, אנחנו מאמינים, מקווים, לא מתייאשים, אנחנו יהודים.